Thank you, Danny, for that wonderful, wonderful eulogy on behalf of your family. Coming up, we will have an open microphone, and we'll begin that with Fred Sereda, Michele's brother. It's an opportunity to share stories from the community about Michele, but I think I'd like to ask if you're able to participate and share a story, if maybe you will queue up somehow, maybe along the center aisle, so we know how many people would like to say something. If you're a little nervous about speaking, you could jot something down. And if you're too nervous to do even that, don't forget we have the cards available to you at the back on the tables to record stories and memories and slide them into the memory book, as long as we get them down. So while Fred is collecting himself, I have one more memory of Michele. Mo and I connected with football. You know, the minute he found out I was a Rider fan, we were like this. But Michele was very much in love with my husband. And of course, she was an actress. So if anything happened to Bela, she suddenly could snap into a role, say, you know, Dr. Sereda. So he fell and fractured his kneecap one year. She was over at the house. As soon as he was kind of able to move and stand, she had him on the floor, move like this, Bela, stretch that, you know, and do all this stuff. Just right there, always trying to help, and of course, laughing her head off the whole time. So I'm very happy that we have memories of the four of us, even at the football game, but also going to hear Buddy Guy or going to hear Jerry and the Pacemakers, dining in the tent outside of our house, and all kinds of fun memories. Miss them forever. So Fred, if you'd like to come forward. And the rest of you, if you have a family, or pardon me, a story to share, please line up, and then we'll know who wishes to speak.
It was much better facing the front. Unbelievable. I have words written. I haven't seen Joey for many years. I have stuff here and I don't even know where it's going now, because with Joey, met him when Michele was in university, the first year. Seen him at the Fringe in Edmonton. We were young guys. I had long curly hair, and I think our suits were smaller, but to see him come down here today, we have to connect wherever you are, Joey. I don't know where you are, but we will after. So I know this is, I can ramble and ramble. I think I'll just go it. So good afternoon, and now we know I'm Michele's brother. Today, I brought with me my wife, Sherry, my youngest daughter, and Ben. And the light of in her eyes, her little granddaughter, I guess has got impatient, is at the back, but Charlotte. We wanted a boy, or I wanted a boy, I guess, as a grandson. And so Nikki says, it's okay, Dad, even if it's a girl, it'll be Charlotte, but she'll be Charlie. So that's where Charlie came from. So hearing the news of our baby sister's fate 13 days ago led me on an emotional roller coaster ride. I'm sure we all ask why. No one here can answer why. So wasting energy in this question, in my mind, is futile. And after listening to the words of Danny and Joey, I come from the oil field. I'm so inspired by the words. I'm a redneck Saskatchewan cross Albertan, and listening to the words that are so fluent. My words are 52 in grade 12, but I'm happy with them. But I'm just so pleased that the expressions that they have. It's amazing. So, and this is honesty. We live 800 kilometers or 700 kilometers away. I waited to write something down because I had so many thoughts, and it was last Wednesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I grabbed the pen, and in 10 minutes, this is what I had, and it's echoed everything Danny has mentioned, what Joey has mentioned, because I said I wanted this from the heart. So obviously all of this has come from the heart. If you're a stepson, a friend, a worker, a brother, it says, she touched everyone that way, and it's just reflecting on me. It's like I told Sherry just up here a couple minutes, I don't have to come up here. Everybody that has spoke, it's in my words. but I will continue. Because I like talking too. I'm a little bit of Michele, right? I like it. I thought it was going to be bad, but this is good. I like all your strength. I know she's up there. She just do it. I went into I'm going to go with a little story out of corner here, but so here's my baby sister. I didn't know her very well. I left home. She was in grade 4. I was in grade 12. I left. And I had to go to Alberta because who wants to pick stones for the rest of their lives? I surely didn't. So I left. And the contact with Michele, as she grew up, I was going one way and she's going another way, but it was always the telephone. We'd always end up on the telephone. So this is where I'll continue. And it's so ironic, but the stories I've heard are memories, not stories, memories or recollections. So the one thing I do know is that Michele lived for people, being able to share her experiences and knowledge. All you had to do was ask her, and if you didn't, she would share them anyways. I would sit on the back step of the patio and have very long conversations from where she was going to what her next project was going to challenge her with. And in a single breath, we'd be off on another topic with having involved in politics or maybe a new recipe for spaghetti squash and possibly a book I should read. She knew I never read, but it was there as Joey and Dandy Cohen. You always had to be on your toes. There were at least 4 different conversations happening at the same time, and I think she was just testing to see if you were really listening to what she would say. And after 45 minutes or so, I guess maybe she could feel I was drifting away from her thought, because then all of a sudden would say, okay, I think you're busy and I'm busy also, so goodbye. So she had that sense that, okay, he's had enough of me. We're going on. I remember Michele arriving at her oldest daughter grad in 2000 and showing off the creativity by transforming a pillowcase into a top she wore to Nadine's grad. Now, who else could pull this off? I guess I could continue on, and I know others want to speak. But the best days, how Michele put people together. It was Nadine's wedding last August. Michele got to spend 4 days with us. Who knew these days would be so precious, priceless, and personal time with my own children? I have Nikki. I will go through them. First of all, my son, our son. Opposite to Michele, opposite to me, much like my wife Sherry. That's why I have to do all the talking. They just sit back. So I spoke with Nathan. We were all busy at the wedding, getting things ready, and I said, Nathan, you have to go and get Auntie Mikey. We called her Auntie. It's funny how the same families but separate areas. She was Auntie Mikey to the kids. She was Mish, different. But I says, you're elected to go to the airport and pick up Auntie Mikey at the airport. And it was just this. What am I going to do? What am I going to say? I says, you don't have to say anything. You just listen. It'll be all good. And Nathan got to spend about 4 hours. It's a small window in someone's life, but it's a very precious window now. And so I asked Nathan, after everything was over, what you learn, Nathan? Because I know you had to learn something. She was giving you advice. Well, he says, so he was in the oil field with me. He come out of the oil field. They went to Vancouver, to Pacific Audio. And Auntie Mikey told me to chase my dreams, even when they seem so far out of reach. And he is. Nadine, the bride, that weekend, is regretful, I guess, if that's the right word. The focus was on her, so she didn't get a large opportunity or a great amount of time to spend like Nikki and Nathan did. But for the little bit of time that she did have to share, her comments were to show confidence, not only in your speech, but also to carry confidence in your body language. Who cannot see Michele walking around here just with her stride, if it be in her pink cowboy boots or pink jacket or whatever it is? So that's what was carried from Michele to Nadine. And Nikki, we call her our baker. So there is a baker in the family. So we challenged Nikki also, because Michele said, I'll fly out from Regina to Edmonton. If you got someplace for me to stay, it was just, I said, that's no problem. We nominated Nikki. She had the base in Sherwood Park. So Sherwood Park, Nikki and Ben's place was home base for the wedding in last August. So now, Nikki, everybody was together. We're leaving Sunday, and Michele's not leaving for the airport till Monday night. Dad, what am I going to do with her all day? I says, again, as to Nathan, just listen. And she did. While Nikki was putting little Charlie to sleep around noon, Nick and Ben had bought a well-established place in Sherwood Park, approximately 50 years old, so large apple trees in the backyard. She cursed the apples falling on the ground, and she said, this spring, Dad, those apple trees are coming down. I'm tired, we're not using the apples, we're getting rid of the apple trees. As she's putting little Charlie to bed, there's Michele, comes in like a baba, with her t-shirt and apples full in there, and asking, do you have any cinnamon sticks? Do you have some pint jars? And what did she teach Nikki? They made apple jelly that afternoon from nothing. So for Nicole, to show her what you can use, the earth, to have whatever is around you, just take a look, and you can make something out of nothing. I got the opportunity, so Sherry's experience. Again, we didn't have much physical contact with Michele. It was mostly verbal. She shared the world with us. My wife and I traveled quite a bit, but nowhere near what she did in her short time. So 3 years ago, Sherry and I, our family, were challenged also. Sherry was diagnosed with cancer. The fearful word, the big C word, and it's not yours, Joey. It's the cancer word. So, where did we confide? Where did we go to look for direction? To Michele. Because we were there partially with Mo. And I remember Michele telling Sherry, Mo liked to go sit in the sun. You have to go in the sun while she was going through treatments. If you go and sit in the sun, it'll not only warm your body, but it'll warm your soul. And we did. And it did help. Because Michele was with us, even she wasn't there at that time. And Sherry would keep in contact. I wasn't a Facebook, I just got a phone, a smartphone. I think it's a bohong thing. We just don't want to give up the little flip phone. Tom, what kind of phone do you have? Flip phone, right? See, brother-in-law. The hell with all of this fancy stuff, but with the job and everything, I had to go so I got the thing, wow, this is pretty neat. Okay. Sherry would keep in contact also with Michele on the Facebook and Messenger. I'm learning new language now, and it was only maybe, I think it was February 4th, I believe. Our little Charlie is so curious, a little angel, like all little ones are. Nikki was doing dishes, and Charlie pulled the tea towel off. I don't know if people maybe just bonks do this, put the tea towel on the stove, handle of the oven. So she pulls it off, and she puts it on just like a little kerchief. And Nikki takes a clothespin or a little pin and puts it on, takes a picture, which we get a picture from Nikki and Ben every day of little Charlie. Sends it. Sherry forwards it to Michele, and in an instant she texts us back or comments, "Baby Baba." And if you see that picture, if you go, it's on Facebook. It's priceless. That was our connection. With me, it was simple. Always reminding me that we all put our leg, it's just in different words what everybody has said here, always reminding me that we all put our pants on one leg at a time, making us all equal. Color, race, that was not in Michele's vocabulary. That didn't exist. And with the treatments that Sherry was going through with the cancer, I worked with the First Nation Aboriginal people quite a bit in northern Alberta. And when they found out about Sherry's cancer, Kevin Dean called me. And he said, "We'd like to do a sweat for Sherry." So I'm pretty open-minded. We went. And the experience was phenomenal. It was just amazing. So I had to call my kid sister and tell her about this experience we had shared and the healing powers that are involved that it gave us. So I tell her this long story of the bear and the eagle and the grandfathers and the water. And this is, because most of our conversations are probably, like I say, 45 minutes to an hour. She says at the end of it, "I know." Well, why didn't you just say, "I know," and I wouldn't have to? She says, "No, I've been working with the people." And he says, "Fred," she says, you have to understand the First Nation or Aboriginal beliefs in the Ukrainian are so much similar because it's coming from the earth. In my mind, and in our minds, when Michele and I talked, it was like the Bible. It's what you read and what you interpret it to be. When you look at it, it's still coming from the earth. And you know what, guys? I had a whole flipping page written about that, and I didn't read a damn thing on it. It just come, Michele don't need that. It's unbelievable, the experience that today at the pipe ceremony, in my mind, that's what's giving me the strength today to come here. It was a small, intimate group of what, Danny, 30, 35 people in that circle. And when David sang Amazing Grace, for the people that maybe didn't have the opportunity to share the connection of the two beliefs or whatever, that was amazing. I could see the energy and feel the energy all over. There was a connection. My family, we have a family. We're one less, but we're more. I won't explain that. Who needs to know knows. And it's all happened because of Michele. So all I would like to do is thank the Aboriginal, the First Nations, I don't know names, for whoever was involved in preparing the moccasins, making and lighting the lanterns, and obviously I do know the names for the pipe ceremony this morning. Our family will never forget that. But to honor Michele in that way, and I felt honored to have been able to participate in an event like that. I'm almost done, Heather. Oh, heck, I gotta do one more little one. I ought to. Where's Joey? Put up your hand, Joey. I gotta see your face. I need courage. Where is he? There he is. So I remember these as kids, the first one. So I was like Nathan. Dad says to me, It's Michelle's first Christmas coming home from university. You go pick her up at the bus, the depot. Okay, I go to town. I haven't seen Michelle for a while. I get to the bus depot, I'm a little bit early, and this person comes off the bus. She's got a lime green coat on, blue pants, a red top, scarves all over. The hats weren't in yet, if I can remember right. I'm going back quite a few years, but maybe the hat was there and I don't recall it. And I look at this, and I think it was probably a colorful pair of shoes too, or maybe different colored socks. And she approaches me, again, I could see that with confidence, and gives me the loudest hug you could imagine. And I think I have a little Michelle, because I'm going to leave you with the definition of, or the words of a loud hug, but I think you'll figure out what I'm saying. There was no words. We didn't need words. It was just a loud hug. And at that point, I never thought of this. I could see she would become what she'd become, and she was 18 years old. Amazing. Amazing. It just... Fortunately, I was in grade 12, she was in grade 4. So do I have stories of growing up? Very little. I wasn't going to pick stones. Remember, like I said earlier, I'm going to Alberta. Now maybe I wish I wouldn't have, but you know what? We have family, we kept in touch. So it'll be better. Michelle's a manipulator and a facilitator. Danny, I have to share the story too, Danny. I says, you set me up, you said you're wearing a tie. He comes down the stairs at the house, he says, Michi told me to wear these blue jeans because I put my pants on and they're torn. I went for another shirt, and there's a chocolate stain on them. She doesn't have to be here. She can manipulate or facilitate people just by what she's taught us. Amazing. So on behalf of the family, I would like to thank Danny and Chris and the immense artistic community. I have volunteers involved in producing, and I did write here Michelle's final and greatest performance. It's just her beginning. When I see the enthusiasm in the words of Joey and the challenges to go forward, this isn't the final. I'm taking those words back, but I'm wiser now with looking at all of you and hearing your words. So this act that you put together today, we'll never forget this. And Michelle, I will never have to wonder if you are safe or where you are, because you are with us all every day. Thanks, people.